Hey everybody, a little bit of news that I want to point out to you here. Today in the Vancouver Sun, this was the headline. Potent pot, not a soft drug. It goes on underneath to say the reports. This is a report from the United Nations. Report says the effects of Canada's cannabis now rival those of cocaine and heroin. You lying fucks. Simple as that. What the fuck is this bullshit? Some idiot from the United Nations has come out with a report. This is from Antonio Maria Costa, director of the UN's Office on Drugs and Crimes. Has this person not done any research whatsoever to suggest that marijuana, the effects are the same as cocaine and heroin? Are you people so stupid? I cannot believe that adult men and women are this uninformed about what they say is one of the most serious things on our planet. They talk about opium production is down in Afghanistan. Another lie, an absolute lie. Opium production has soared. You know since when? Since it was invaded by the United States. And that's one of the big reasons why they invaded it, is to get the opium back from the Taliban, so that they can sell it to buy guns and do horrible things that they do around the world. I am sick of it. Now, in this report, it didn't include the statement that every other report, I Googled it on Google, and you should do the same, marijuana, under Google News, and you'll see all the stories from around the world. Those stories all included big-time dorky statements from John Walters. This whole report here has been planted by the United States government, and if I'm lying, then God strike me dead right now. Nothing. The United States government is the biggest scourge of nastiness that's ever been wrought upon this planet. I urge every American citizen to get out there and do something about these rogue animals. Cheney, Bush, Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice. I'm sick of these monsters. They are out there doing horrible shit, and they are the ones responsible for putting this crap in the newspaper. Do you think the Vancouver Sun came here and asked us about this? No. They never do. You'll notice that they never come and get a response from anybody but who is a researcher or a cop. That's the only place they get their information. The only rebuttal in this stupid article was from Neil Boyd of Simon Fraser University, a criminologist professor. Oh, he's so lazy days about it. He doesn't give a shit that these people are lying about this stuff. Absolutely lying straight out of their faces. I can't believe it. I stand here and say to you that I smoke the most potent pot in the world to excess. I am chronic. I smoke more than most people combined, for God's sakes. The most potent pot in the world. And I can stand here and make sense to you today. I'm not some gibbled idiot who can't find his car keys. I'm so sick of this nonsense. Now here, this is what they said on the front page, but actually in the body of the article, the United Nations report also points out that marijuana is maybe not quite like cocaine and heroin, but that's what made the front page, you fucking liars. The Vancouver Sun, you sons of bitches. You journalists are a bunch of chicken shit fucking robots as far as I'm concerned. You don't do any research on your own. You print what is pablomed out to you every single day in this goddamn rag. I don't buy it. I don't read it. I throw it away if I see it. It's nothing but the bottom of a bird cage liner as far as I'm concerned. Why can't there be one single journalist in this world? The real story is right there in front of you. Why is this being done to cannabis? Now, they point out in the Netherlands that cannabis has been tolerated for all these years, but nowhere in this report do they suggest that there's been no damage by the use of cannabis. The reason why the cannabis use has gone up year after year around the world is because people who use it know that it's safe. Are we so fucking stupid That we don't know what's safe to put into our bodies? You liars! Leave us alone and let us make our own decisions about this. How, on one hand, can marijuana be used by thousands and hundreds of thousands of people to relieve physical conditions that they have? And on the other hand, this is supposed to be some debilitating, horrible drug like cocaine and heroin. It boggles my mind that these people are allowed to utter this bullshit. And it's because of the media. The media allows them to. Have you ever in your life, and think about this hard now, folks, ever seen a report on TV, in the newspaper, on the radio, of harm that's been created by marijuana, that was generated by marijuana? I've never heard one. I've never heard anybody say, hey, my head blew off, or my ear started leaking blood, or anything. The only reports about cannabis that you have ever seen in your whole life come from researchers bent on supplying the prohibitionist point of view through some warped science, and cops. Cops, cops, cops. These are the people who are reaping the big bucks off prohibition now. The billions of dollars going to the DEA, the billions of dollars going to the RCMP, and every other police force around the world. Now the UN has said, yeah, you guys better go out and do something about this. You better get fatter budgets, fatter belt lines, and do less for our world than you already are. The police in our society have become damn near useless. They don't do anything but bust pot people. They've got a chart in here, and I'll put it up for you, that shows you how much marijuana was confiscated around the world compared to the other drugs. Oh, it's unbelievable amounts. 7,700 tons of cannabis. Cocaine was fucking 500. Opium, 209 tons of opium was caught. Huh, I wonder why. Heroin, 60 tons of heroin. But 7,700 tons of cannabis? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Now it's time that everybody took some responsibility for this bullshit. This isn't just pot users that are being persecuted, it's our entire society. How is it possible that out of the United States, one of the most popular TV shows is called Prison Break? How fucking sick is that? And how sick of a society do you people live in that you would celebrate that you would turn it on? The same thing with The Sopranos. Who the fuck wants to celebrate the mafia? You jerks. You're being fed this shit all day long and you're lapping it up like idiots. So you have something to talk about around the water cooler. Well, why don't you talk about the fact that millions of people are being persecuted for using a substance that doesn't hurt anyone? Do you get it? Doesn't hurt anyone. Has never hurt anyone. I don't give a shit what the prohibitionist researchers do to monkeys to find out some extrapolated piece of bullshit that they can suggest that it's harmful. In this very article here where Neil Boyd was interviewed, criminologist from Simon Fraser University, remember, he still cautioned the use of marijuana because of the carcinogens in the smoke. Well, it was only but a week ago that the world announced that, in fact, cannabis does not cause cancer. This is from one of the leading prohibitionist researchers of all time, came out. Where the hell is Neil Boyd's head? Up his ass? He didn't even know about that story? No. Why the fuck did they even talk to him? So look, this is what we're up against. We're up against the world. The United Nations. It's funny how the acronym for the outfit is called UN, because they're untruthful, undemocratic, uncaring, unwise. It's nonsense. So get out there and do something about this. You got to start writing letters. There's all sorts of stories about this coming out all over the United States, and there will be all day. Go out there and respond to every one of them, folks. You got to stand up here. There's millions of us. There's so many of us, we can defeat any force against us. There's not enough cops, there's not enough stupid politicians, and stop voting for these people. Go and make a point and tell them that you will not vote for them, and tell them that you will campaign against anyone else voting for them because of their stupid drug policies. Politicians choose to leave these drugs out on our street. They have made that choice for us, folks. It is not in our best interest to have these drugs out there. Control them, put them behind closed doors, and give them to adults who want them. Forget about your kids. I'm sick of you looking after your kids out here. Get them at home playing video games if you have to, but don't let them out on the streets. It's way too fucking dangerous. Plus, your teachers and your cops in your schools have already introduced your kids to all the drugs out there. They haven't warned them against them. They've only introduced them because these kids have little tiny absorbent minds that they take shit in, but they don't understand the consequences. They haven't lived an adult life to understand what any of this means. So in reality, all these idiots have done is introduced your children to marijuana. And then they've left it out there on the streets for them to get at any time. And you think your kids are safer. If I had a child in school, folks, I would be standing out in front with a placard right now to tell the cops and the drug teachers to get out of my schools. Why don't they teach your kids how to give a blowjob in a car? That's an adult horror that awaits them. Why don't they teach them how to do anything else that might await them out here? How to fill an inside straight with Texas Hold'em? They don't. They don't give a shit about your kids, folks. They want to suck your children into the vortex of the criminal society. That's all they're doing. They're setting them up. They're introducing them to all these drugs which are out there for them to buy from some unsolicited source who doesn't give a shit who he or she is selling to. They're addicted to the drugs to make the money, to sell the drugs, to buy the drugs, to make the money. And you people don't see that the end of prohibition is the only way to make our streets safe. Go back to the 1930s and take a look at the difference here between the prohibition of alcohol and the prohibition of cannabis, and you'll find there's none. The reasons they repealed the prohibition of alcohol for this are for the same very reasons we should repeal the prohibition on all these drugs, you fools. Why do you think that anything has changed? To continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results is fucking near insane.